Alright, this is our first trip to Sintra.
Yep.
And I'm doing my first selfie on a video camera. So we're heading to Sintra. And Sintra is one of the national palaces in Portugal. And we're heading up the mountain. We tried to get here by foot, but
it is straight up.
Very, very straight up. There's Anne's ear, but I'm not going any further over. Oh, she's allowing me to go further over. Okay, very good. Say hi, Annie.
Hello.
Lá vai brincando o balão de uma quimera. Essa garota que ela foi sempre a sorrir, como se a vida fosse eterna primavera e não houvesse mais mundo para sentir. As gargalhadas vêm coisar-me na janela e ao ouvi-las tenho mais pena de mim. Ai, quem me dera rir ainda como elas, mas quando rio eu já não sei rir assim. Tenho a janela do peito aberta para o passado, todo feito de fadistas e de fado. Espreita a alma na janela, vai passando a passar, ao ver se nela a alma fica a chorar. Lá vai gingando nesse seu passo miúdo, melena preta, calça já está afiada. Como mudámos, tu que foste para mim tudo, hoje a meus olhos por mais és do que nada. Tuas chalaças, graçola ironia, andavam de boca em boca, e era verde que nem sei o que sentia. Talvez loucura que por ti andava louca. Tenho a janela do peito aberta para o passado, todo feito de fadistas e de fado. Espreita a alma na janela, vai passado a passar, ao ver se ela a alma fica a chorar. As emoções, as que tive, enchem a rua, lá está. E a gente vive nos tempos que já lá vão.
Beautiful, beautiful view here. Absolutely gorgeous city. And for those of you that think that only Rio de Janeiro thinks big when it comes to crosses of Christ, think again. Apparently, Lisbon did the same thing. I don't know who did it first. Alright, we're here in Lisbon. I'm looking out my hotel window and have a phenomenal view of the city. Just unbelievable. This is the cathedral. And we haven't been in yet, but we probably will go in just because. I say the cathedral, I'm not even sure it's a cathedral. You know what these places out here in Europe. Now here we have the castle of St. George. This is the origins of Portugal and where it all began. And everything developed from there on. And we look further, now we're getting into where the sun is. Stuff. Very, very old. Oh, and there is something that is not very old, but cuts a nice figure. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you, honey. Right now you could push me over these steps and I'd be a dead man. But what a beautiful place, huh? Hey, Annie. Turn back and wave.
Hello.
Ah, there's the bullfighting ring. Say hi to the camera now, Annie.
Hello, camera.
All right. Do we need to get you a castle like that someday?
Well, with a different flag flying over it.
Oh,
please.
Yes. All right. Now we are at Monte Mor a Novo, which is a little castle town just east of Lisbon. The storks of Portugal, up in their nest with their babies. This is in May of 2014, shortly before the storks come and visit the Collins family.
This is a nice bed. It's very, very clean.
Is that the thing you like about Évora most?
Yes. Yeah, it really is.
Alright, now we're actually at the beginning of the tour. This is the main entrance to the palace, and this is the main courtyard, which they actually call the hunter's courtyard, because that's where the king would gather with his hunting parties. And this is one of the oldest walls in the building. This is one of the many courtyards in the Alcázar. It's always got a fountain somewhere near it. Very pretty. Here's the wall right next to the garden. Here, on the other hand, are the geometric gardens that were built. Yeah, this is a hydraulic organ. Again, more of the Alcázar. Not sure exactly how to say that, but I've put the accent on just about every syllable so far.
This is the ladies' garden, FJ.
What did you say? It's the ladies' garden?
Off to the right is the ladies' garden.
Okay.
We need to invent a camera that
El
can
Jardín de las Damas.
skyline.
This is absolutely gorgeous here. And you can see the cathedral in the background. I'm going to zoom in slowly to try to get that there. But actually, I guess I'm going to zoom in quickly. I think that's called the Giralda. It's actually made up of 3 levels of stone: Roman, Moorish, and then Christian. And are walking through a garden in Miami, looking up at the beautiful palm trees that the Miami sky seems to have. But now, somehow, we were teleported back to the Alcázar in southern Spain and Sevilla. You gotta love the majesty of this building. Down like Queen Isabella Anna. The place is full of birds, mostly doves. Alright, here we are in the Alcázar in Sevilla, Spain. I'm shooting down the avenue. If I make it all the way through here, walking down the street towards the entrance without stepping in some horse dew, I will be a very lucky man. All right, Annie. So we're here in Portugal. Where in
are.
Portugal are we?
Right now we're in Tavira, which is
Tavira.
on the,
Ooh, I'm looking over your shoulder here. There's a river there, isn't there?
yes, it's on the western coast of, westernmost city of Portugal, right near Spain.
I think you got that wrong. This is on the south part of Portugal.
Well, the southwest.
Sagre was the westernmost point
I'm
of
sorry.
Portugal.
Oh, southeast.
Yeah, this is actually getting pretty close to Spain, right?
Yeah.
So we're only about an hour from Sevilla.
Hour and a half from Sevilla, which we're going to tomorrow. But today we did this town, Tavira, on the Algarve, and we went to the beach, and we went all around the beautiful old town and climbed a castle, climbed up to the top of the castle.
That was nice. And you were looking pretty funny when you were getting scared there,
I was
weren't
very
you?
scared to climb down these very, very narrow steps that were on the edge of the castle.
It was fun
so-
following you up the steps,
Yeah,
just listening to the
Prayers
whining
that I
and the
was-
prayers, and
because I was scared. But anyway, the town is beautiful, and now we.
it was right near the church of Santa Ana, right? So
Yes.
maybe you were praying to her?
No, I was praying the Hail Mary.
Okay.
To be honest,
All
but.
right.
So now we found this adorable little restaurant for dinner.
Casa Cota.
Casa Cota, and it's right near the river. We're on the roof of the restaurant, so we can look out over the other restaurants.
We're
and
right
look
near
at
the
river.
sunset. We're lucky it's sunset because it was hot here earlier, I'm sure.
Yeah, on the roof, but now it's beautiful. And this must be called the City of Swallows because there are millions of swallows just flying around and chirping.
That was
and
just
it
a
creates just a beautiful cacophony of sound. And earlier we were staying in a, not a parador, but a paragosa.
posada.
Posada. And it was an old convent, and it has but now it's very beautiful, and they've fixed it up and everything. And there was a beautiful pool, and it was just quiet.
I'm not
And we
thinking
just
that the
sat around
nuns.
the pool
Do you think
and
the nuns
listened.
swam in that pool?
No, I'm sure it wasn't there when those nuns were there, but it was just a nice little background noise and just relaxing while we sat around the pool, just to sort of, chill out after, a few days at the beach and a lot of hiking and we just wanted to relax a little.
All right. Well, you speak of hiking. Can you tell me about our hikes over the last 2 days?
Sure. We hiked,
What was the name of that town? Galé, with an
Galé.
accent on the E, right?
yes. And there was all these trails right on the ocean, right beyond the sand. There was this wall of rocks, basically, but it had been worn down in parts to make trails. And we walked for a long time and just saw beautiful vistas and stood out on top of the rocks as the waves were coming in. It was amazing.
Every time you turned around, there was another better vista, wasn't
A better
it?
vista. And I don't think we would ever have something like that in the U.S. because I think they are so regulated. So it was just really a treat to be able to just,
Well, we have beautiful things in the U.S., but what you mean is the danger of it. We were walking on this little tiny trail.
right.
And if the National Park Service got a hold of that, and the lawyers for the National Park Service got a hold of that,
That would have,
it would have put an end
exist
to it,
anymore.
right?
Right. It wouldn't exist anymore. So,
Right. There'd be all
So-
sorts of railings everywhere, right?
So we saw everything. I mean, I really compare it to our hiking in the Grand Canyon. That's how beautiful it was. Different. The ocean added a lot to it. And for me, it wasn't quite as scary. I like to be able to, we could just follow the water line and know we weren't getting lost. Some of the hikes you've taken me on in the past through Hawaii and whatnot have been a little scary. So this was nice. I'm not normally a scaredy cat, though. It's making it sound like I'm a big scaredy cat, and I'm not.
Well, we can talk about that later.
All right. Anyway.
So, how did we start our trip, honey? We flew into Portugal, right?
We flew
Excuse me, into Lisbon,
we
right?
flew into Lisbon, but we just rented a car and went right to Sintra.
Sintra,
Sintra.
Sintra,
Yes,
right?
on the west coast. Beautiful little town, walled city. And we did a lot of hiking there too. There's a big castle at the very top of this
Oh yeah.
mountain. And we tried to take the shortcut because it was about, 6 miles up the mountain. So we tried to take the shortcut, and we kind of got a little lost, but it just worked out great because we got to see a lot of different things. And
Now Sintra has its own little microclimate, doesn't it? It was very green there.
yes, it was. It was green, and you could tell that they had a lot of rain. I mean, we didn't get any rain, but you could tell that they'd had a lot of rain, unlike this area down here in the south, which is very dry.
So this is probably about 3 hours south of Sintra, something like that.
Yes.
Because after we left Sintra, well, just first off to talk about Sintra, we went and saw the castle,
Right.
and
Beautiful, and the little
was
town was beautiful.
yeah.
And we just stayed in a really nice little hotel right
Tivoli,
in the middle
right?
of the city. A Tivoli hotel right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So that was nice to
And then-
be able to do that. And we hadn't slept all night because we had been on the plane, and
That was tough.
yeah, that was tough. So we took our little 2-hour power nap and then hit the ground running.
Tried to hit the ground running, but we really kind of hit that wall with that hill going up the
Oh
hill.
my goodness, good thing we'd had our coffee before we did that, because
We actually had to turn around, go back and get the car, didn't we?
yeah, and then we did go to the top with the car.
And then we got to the castle at the top,
Right.
and
Closed
or
it
the
down.
palace. It was really a palace of one of the queens from the 1800s.
Right.
And that was very cool. They had some really cool furniture and stuff, and we went through a little tour of that, right?
Yes, that was very, very interesting. Yeah.
Got a few pictures in there. And then the next day we left for the first
Lagos.
place, Lagos, Lagos, but it's Lagos, right?
Yes. And that was a busy town.
Right,
A
that was
busy beach
Steve.
town. Rick Steve's
Steve's,
recommendation.
yeah, but that was kind of a,
It was okay. It was, I mean, a lot of people that we talked to just absolutely loved it. People from all over the UK and Ireland just love it. They think it's great. And, it was fine. It was very nice, but I wouldn't have wanted to stay there more than 2 days. We saw some incredible beaches and caves and rock formations on the beaches, but we pretty much saw it all in 2 days. And it wasn't relaxing. So if you were going for a whole week, it wouldn't. We like to be able to have some relaxing time.
so then we kind of took off to the windy coast.
Yes.
Where did we go?
Sagres.
Sagres. That's like the westernmost point of Europe, right?
Yes.
Was there any wind or weather there?
No weather at all. Yes, it was very windy. You can say things too. You can add to it.
I'm working on you.
So anyway, honey, why don't you just cut? I mean, who's
No.
the
I just want to get the whole thing.
Okay, so
So we hit
Sagres.
Sagres. Sagres
Yeah,
was super
and-
windy. I mean,
yes.
it was like 30, 40 mile an hour winds the whole time, right?
Right.
And I didn't go into the water there because it was very, very, lots of waves. But
Yeah,
it was
you'd already-
beautiful.
We'd already found a beach that was, we went in the water. You went in the water.
Actually, no, that was afterwards, the next day.
No, you went in the water that day.
Did I go in the water that day?
It was at one of the beaches. Remember
Did a nice long swim on one of those beaches.
one of those beaches. Already, we've only been here 4 days and we're forgetting some
I
of the beaches
know,
we've been on.
I know.
If I looked at a map, I would be able to find it.
Then we headed over this way, and I went
Yeah.
swimming on one of those beaches,
Right.
and that was
right.
a lot of fun.
Now here comes songria with our sangria. We're gonna have
Okay.
some drinks.
Let's see,
and
sangria.
This lovely lady is
Sangria.
bringing our drinks.
Ah, okay. Thank you for the sangria.
And what is your name?
Okay, here I am in Portugal, in Tavira.
Okay, now we are at a place called, what's the name of this place? Anyway, it's in between,
Azimut.
it's called Azimut, and it's in between Sagres, no, it's in between Cascais
Estoril,
and
Estoril.
Estoril. And their specialty is snails, and so that is what FJ is digging into. Having snails and a little beer because we were told that they go very well with.
Cases in Estoril. We're having a nice coffee by the sea. So where are we, Annie?
We are in Cascais and Estoril, and the two beaches during high tide connect. But we're in low tide, so there's this division here.
Gotcha. So we're out right in the ocean.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? It's sunny. It's about 80 degrees, maybe 75 degrees, and there's a nice cool breeze. It's beautiful.
And just pointed out that where I'm looking, you can actually see another castle. It's called the Moorish Castle.
Honey, do you have
It's
a map?
I do.
Figure out where we're going?
And it's way over there. See it coming up? I got it. But I'm trying to show the Moorish Castle.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
But you're making me shake by reaching
sorry.
in my pockets.
Maybe next summer, girls, for our next summer vacation, we can stay in the palace.
Are you presenting the palace to
I'm
them?
presenting the palace as, an option for our summer vacation.
How about at least for just a wedding?
Well, we've already had lots of weddings, and they were in
Yeah, we
beautiful
got one
places,
left.
and we're not going to have another one for a long time, so this would be a nice patio for a
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. This would be a nice patio for a nice barbecue.
Do you wanna
I couldn't agree with that more. How nice would this be? What's that, honey?
Do you see like a knight on top of the...
Oh yeah, let's see that. See if I can get that in here. Well, this is for the two Andrews, and to kind of look at the deer that they had here.
Different racks like that.
Pretty amazing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 points.
These are serious deer. But you know what they do is they're putting a fake face on them and then just putting the rack on afterwards. But you take a look at that rack, that does not look like any deer that I've ever seen. Now we're going into, it looks to be like the ballroom or the sitting room. But I'd say I'd want to have a ball here if I was going to take this place over. Not that I think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Like a pinkish salmon color hue.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Oh my goodness.
The furniture is rather ornate. I think it makes Podhast look like a mere amateur. Yeah, we got a nice tower going on here. Some people have a strange view of the world. Look at this guy. I mean, you know, he's troubled. He's definitely got some troubles. Mawaj. I want my subjects to adore me.
Very popular pieces of furniture, weren't they, Jay?
You know, these settees.
Cheese. Yeah.
I think you'd look really nice on one of these, honey.
Oh, thank you. You want to get me one?
Especially if you had no clothes on.
Oil portrait of Princess. I have a big font in there. Look at all the tile work.
Yeah. It's really amazing. It definitely got.
Gargoyles.
Is that Rick Steves I see? Is that Rick Steves right there? Mrs. Rick Steves?
Yeah, well, no.
Going to the Sintra Palace. What'd you say? Highly recommend?
I said I highly recommend it.
All right. Well, we haven't even been there yet, though.
Well, I mean, I highly recommend coming here. It's so nice.
Absolutely.